Alrighty guys, welcome back to Star Wars Review. Today I am reviewing Star Wars Obi Wan Kenobi, the full Disney Plus series. Well, as of right now, I don't know if they'll end up doing more or not. It was said to be a limited series, so I'm assuming it's a limited series. But all 6 episodes were directed by Deborah Chow. But the episodes were written by Joby Harold, Hannah Friedman, Andrew Stanton, Hosen Amani, and Stuart Beattie. Not all of them wrote each episode, and some of them are only credited because they had written stuff beforehand. Maybe wasn't as used in the series, but the series starred Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi and released from May 27th, 2022 to June 22nd, 2022. And consisted of 6 episodes, which I enjoyed the series. When it was announced and, kind of during the lead up to it, I really wasn't super excited about it. I would say when the first teaser came out, I started kind of definitely get more excited for it. But kind of just throughout, when it was rumored as a film and then a series, and when it was actually announced and, during the filming and casting stuff and whatnot, I just, wasn't as hyped up for it. And I ended up enjoying it a lot more than I was expecting to. It's not a perfect show. I do have some complaints. My biggest one was I thought the action was kind of meh. And in some cases it's bad. Mainly because the overuse of shaky cam. Pretty much every action scene they're using shaky cam, which I don't like that. There's one moment in the 5th episode, I think it was, when Reva and the stormtroopers and whatnot, storm the base, which Obi-Wan and the rest of the path are in. There's an action moment where they're all kind of shooting each other. It's just all shaky. I didn't really like that moment. I thought it was kind of bad. I could barely tell what was going on. But, the rest of the action was there's a lot of shaky cam. Pretty much anytime there's blaster fights, I thought it was kind of not that great. The big, action scenes, the lightsaber fights, I did find to be alright. They still use the shaky cam, and maybe in some cases, definitely the one between Reva and Vader, I thought was maybe a little over choreographed. Obviously that fight was very cool, and the 2 fights between Vader and Obi-Wan I thought were cool also, and I enjoyed. But they still, those ones still use shaky cam, and now I'm like, why are you shaking the camera? You don't really need to do that. So the shaky cam was probably my biggest complaint, and during the action scenes. The 2 fights between Vader and Obi-Wan, one thing I did really like about them was that they both happened at nighttime, and really the biggest light sources in those scenes are their lightsabers, which I thought that was a really neat visual. Really the visuals, there wasn't really anything crazy about them, but that was probably my favorite visual element from the show, which, kind of going into the visuals a little. Obviously you use the volume or stagecraft tech, like The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, which, I know a lot of people, didn't like that for this show, and, I didn't really find it to be that bad or that big of a problem. There were some moments, definitely some of the moments on Jabim I felt were kind of iffy looking, but, I like the, in the 6th episode, the fight between Vader and Obi-Wan, I like the setting there and the visuals there. And the volume is mainly backdrops, and so it basically just replaces green screen. Obviously, there's some limitations to sets and whatnot because of how the volume is shaped. I believe it was for Mandalorian season 2. They kind of made it bigger, and obviously it's newer tech, so it's obviously evolving and whatnot. Obviously the behind the scenes stuff for Obi-Wan hasn't came out yet, so I don't really know the full details of everything there. But there really wasn't anything that I found distracting about it, other than a few moments on Jabeam, which is mainly just the kind of outside area. The door of the base where like Reva is, and there's a bunch of stormtroopers. That was really the only like kind of CG element, I guess, what I thought was iffy looking. But like the stuff on Tatooine, Dayu, I thought that stuff looked good too. Also, Mapuzo, I think, was the planet in the third, episode, and the, Fortress Inquisitors, looked good to me too. So, like, there really wasn't anything, like, I thought looked this bad, in that aspect. The sets and whatnot, there wasn't really anything super duper interesting about any of them. There's, they kind of were all basic Star Wars places. So, I do think that was kind of a meh thing, but I really don't think it was an issue because of the tech they were using. It was more of a design problem, in my opinion, but also a visual thing. I did talk about the lightsabers. I liked how the light sources were used. I do think they're maybe a little small looking, the lightsaber blade part. They're just a little off looking, so that was a little weird. Also, I found the score to be just kind of alright. I did really enjoy Obi-Wan's new theme from John Williams, but the rest of the score, wasn't bad. But comparing it to other scores from other Star Wars stories, I just found it to kind of be a little weak. Most of the times in the, shows or movies or the games or whatever, there's usually definitely a few themes and pieces of music I really enjoy. It's just one, I really like the Obi-Wan theme, but, everything else, like, there wasn't any theme or, music or anything that I just thought was, like, bad, but there just wasn't really anything that stood out to me, which, when you compare it to just other Star Wars music, it seems kind of bad, but, I don't think it was a bad score, just, a weak one compared to other, Star Wars scores. But, that was some of my complaints. But I really enjoyed the story and the characters, in Obi-Wan's, journey. At the start of the series, we see him, in hiding and, not being a selfless Jedi. And, throughout the series, we see, all the characters he, kind of crosses paths with, kind of get him back to his, former, selfless, Jedi ways, which I really, really enjoyed all that. At the start of the series, we see him not help out this, Jedi who's came to Tatooine named Nari, and he eventually finds that Nari, the Inquisitors had killed Nari and have hung him in the town, and we see him refuse to help Bail and Brihe Organa, to save Leia, which, after Bail comes to Tatooine and whatnot, to see him face to face, and like I said, he finds Nari hung in the town. He kind of changes his mind there and goes after Leia, who, throughout the series, kind of the main character to kind of get him back to his way, which, I really liked how the younger Leia, in her relationship with Obi-Wan grows throughout the series, how in the second episode when they first meet, there's kind of, there's no trust there in the relationship, and kind of by the end of the series, when Obi-Wan, needs or wants to go face Vader, Leia doesn't want him to go anymore. The trust, there had grown so much, and I really like that, and, it adds a lot to A New Hope, in my opinion. Adds more to her, recording the message, asking, Obi-Wan for help, even though they, end up not interacting in that movie, and obviously when the movie was made, it probably wasn't an idea, but, I just really enjoyed their relationship in the show, and kind of how they, it gets Obi-Wan back to, his former ways. But, some of the other characters, there's, Haj Astri, he was, like, I think it was the second episode, and he first appears, and he's, like, acting as a fake Jedi, he's like a con man, and, obviously Obi-Wan doesn't trust him, but by the end of the series, after Haja had helped him out and whatnot, he, trusts him with Leia, to get Leia back home and whatnot, which that was probably the biggest character where I felt kind of, you see Obi-Wan's opinion change of them throughout the series, which, Obi-Wan was kind of the reason Haja also kind of changed too, so I enjoyed that. But, also, the characters, there's Talia and Roken and the other random people of the path, they kind of, show Obi-Wan that, I guess there's still hope out there, and that, for the Jedi and just for the galaxy against the Empire and whatnot. So I enjoyed all of the characters there. And then, obviously there's the bad guy characters. Obviously Vader and Anakin, or Vader / Anakin, they're the same people. Technically, he does appear, throughout the series. Obviously in the marketing, they kind of did make him, like, he was going to be a huge presence in the show, which he ended up not being that big of a presence. If this wasn't a story about Obi-Wan, I don't really think he needed to be in the series at all. So Vader's more in the series, I feel like kind of more of a plot device, I guess, for Obi-Wan. And also the character Reva, which I'll talk about her more in a moment. But I do think he still was important to Obi-Wan, because at the start of the series, Obi-Wan, thinks he killed him on Mustafar, but, obviously Obi-Wan then learns he's still alive, and, the confrontations I enjoyed. There's also a flashback, in the 5th episode to a moment before Attack of the Clones of Obi-Wan and Anakin, kind of dueling with their lightsabers. Really enjoyed that moment and how it plays in to the, I guess, present day story also. So, like, I do wish, there was more of him, but I felt like his, smaller presence was enough for the series. But, I guess, the other main villain of the series, Reva, or the third sister, I liked her a lot too. Definitely a interesting character. It's very, like, questionable motives, I guess. She was a Padawan, who was at the Jedi Temple during Order 66, and Vader had, I believe stabbed her, and so, she fell to the dark side, wanting to get revenge on Vader, but, I guess she was smart enough to know that she can't just go after him, so she kind of uses Obi-Wan to kind of lure him in and, cloud his mind, so she can go after him, which, it doesn't work, because, Vader easily defeats her, which, I enjoyed that a good bit. Obviously, afterwards, she kind of then learns about Luke, and I guess she, wants to go after him now, and I guess it was maybe to regain Vader's trust, so maybe she can attempt to take him out again, but during, this moment, she remembers about what Vader did to her during Order 66, and, before, she had her fight with Vader, kind of, we see her and Obi-Wan kind of talk. Obviously, I don't think Obi-Wan was maybe planning to do that, but I do think he started to plant some seeds of doubt into her also, which, afterwards, she doesn't end up, doing anything with Luke. She, takes him back to Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, and Obi-Wan is now there also, and there's a nice, moment between those two, of, Obi-Wan, telling her that, there's a different path than the one she has chosen, and so she kind of throws her lightsaber in the sand. So, in the end, after all these characters kind of helped Obi-Wan get back to his way, he ends up kind of helping Reva also get, back to the light side. So yeah, there's also a few other characters like Uncle Owen. I really liked his few moments we get between him and Obi-Wan. Really like seeing Joel Edgerton back, and thought he was great in the few moments he was there for. Wish we got more of him. And and obviously also Ewan McGregor back as Obi-Wan. I really like seeing him back, and I felt he gave one of his maybe his best performance as the character. And obviously wasn't much, but Hayden Christensen also returns as Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader, and I think he gave one of his best moments as a character in the final moments between him and Obi-Wan in the 6th episode. Obi-Wan had destroyed his mask. He's kind of talking to Obi-Wan. He tells him that Vader killed Anakin and not Obi-Wan and whatnot. That was a great moment. Honestly, probably one of my favorite moments of the series. But the rest of the cast I thought was great too, like Moses Ingram, and I really liked Kamal Nanjiani as Asha Astri. I'm forgetting the young actress who played Leia. Her name, I thought she was good in the role also. So I enjoyed the cast and the characters and whatnot. Also, the Grand Inquisitor, played by Rupert Friend. He wasn't really that major of a character. He does kind of look weird. He doesn't really look like the animated version, or really the his species, the Pawns. I'm forgetting their names. They appear in Revenge of the Sith. He doesn't really look like any of them, so he does look weird. But I really liked him as a character. Just the pulpiness he brought to the character. I just really loved his moments when he's just having a big speech. I thought that was great. I really liked him. And I'm honestly, one thing I am disappointed about is that none of the Inquisitors use their lightsabers to fly. I was really looking forward to that in live action, and it didn't happen. So I'm hoping we get more live action Inquisitors. I would love a live action series of Rupert Friend as the Grand Inquisitor, and we get him flying with his lightsaber. But I'm mainly talking about the characters, and not really the story. I felt like it was more character driven, series and story and whatnot. When you look at it more just on the story, it's pretty simple, and it's Obi-Wan rescuing a young Leia and then having to face off against the Inquisitors and Vader. It's simple. Obviously then there's stuff with the path and whatnot, which I did really like the path also. But it was a pretty predictable story. There really wasn't anything super shocking about it. But I felt like it did its job to tell the journeys of these characters, which I really like that. I do feel like it could have been paced a little bit better, but I still thought the story was enjoyable, and like I said, I thought it was more about the characters, and at least that's what I took from it. I thought it was more character driven, and I really loved what they did with them. Obviously definitely Obi-Wan and Reva, but I don't know, I ended up enjoying the series a lot more than I thought I would. I really loved the characters' journeys. Like I said, the story was simple and kind of predictable, but I felt like it did a good enough job for the journey of the characters. I really liked 5 of the 6 episodes. The 4th episode I wasn't as into, mainly because I thought it kind of was retreading some stuff from previous Star Wars stories. But I do think it was a still important, episode for the characters, and definitely Obi-Wan. Kind of the first episode, kind of see him fully get back into his mojo, I guess. With a lightsaber and whatnot. So yeah, but really, I liked it. There are a few things I didn't like. Were obviously some of the action moments. The score was just kind of meh. And there was a few visual things I wasn't super into, but I visually it was, also just kind of alright. But like I said, enjoyed the series a lot more than I thought I would. But my grade, I'm gonna give it an A-. So yeah. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this one. You can check out my reviews on the 6 episodes of the show, and everything else I've done for the show, which I think is mainly trailer reactions, which who cares about that anymore? But yeah, obviously I do kind of hope we get a second season. At the very end, we see Qui-Gon Jinn's Force Ghost. I would really like a second season, or maybe even like a Disney Plus movie, about Obi Wan and with Qui-Gon's Force Ghost going on an adventure. But yeah. Anyways, that's gonna be for this one. I've been Sarzu, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Stay hidden. To hunting Jedi.